You had something you wanted to bring to the table.
Yeah, well, this kind of tied into the last one. I guess just talking about what's okay and not okay
Mm-hmm.
in front of people. I saw this one. I briefly read it, but I guess they did for Pride Month. They had an event at the White House, and they brought on a transgender model, and she decided to flash her boobs and jiggle in front of everybody at the White House. Uh, and her response was it was just being free in her own skin and stuff, but that's not acceptable in everyday society, let
So
alone in a
now,
formal event
when
at the
you say
White House.
transgender, they are a male at birth or female at
I
birth.
believe male at birth.
So then these are implants, and they present female though.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
100%.
So then they have female parts at least on top.
Right.
So, I am. Man, I have multiple opinions when it comes to.
You would never see a guy, like it's obviously more acceptable for men to walk around topless in
Yep.
society, but you're never going to see a guy rip his shirt off and
No,
jiggle his boobs.
if you want to talk about the White House, you're talking about the White House.
That's what I'm
I'm
talking
completely on board with you.
That's what I'm
But
talking
then I do think this opens up to a bigger discussion that is always worth having.
Okay.
So New York a few years ago, and I'm pretty sure it got voted down. I don't know for sure. So if you guys know, comment, put it in the comments because I don't remember. But they were trying to make it. Some people were trying to make it so that women and men would have the same rules on wearing a top,
Right.
like in Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a good, compelling case there. So for one,
in a public park, something like
That's what I'm
that.
talking about.
Yeah, I think there might be a more compelling case.
right?
Still iffy on it because you're trying to take your children there or whatever. That's not something you want.
Yeah, but see,
If you have a
Okay.
13-year-old boy who's got all those hormones,
I understand what you're
they're
saying.
just going to be staring, and you have to teach your 13-year-old not to stare and stuff.
okay, so then like a mini skirt, do we not get to wear mini skirts because they'll stare at that too?
I don't disagree, but it's still not flesh.
So I understand, but all right, so they'll stare at a woman.
I mean, you still teach them the same
thing.
thing. You're still teaching them the same things.
So they'll stare at a woman who's breastfeeding as well, right? So do we want to limit breastfeeding?
I think that's a different situation.
It is different.
B, most people, when you come across that, you feel bad staring, right? Like,
Of course,
you see
do,
a woman
but a
walking around
13-year-old
topless.
doesn't.
Yeah, a 13-year-old, I think, still would.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
It's a
Me
little
at
bit
13,
different of a scenario, but it's also that's someone feeding their child
So I
briefly
think that-
for a couple minutes. It's not.
I think that if we were to get the stigma done from out from that,
Mhm.
and then we were to say, you know what, no, we can let the sexes kind of represent equally, and you don't have to wear a shirt or whatever. I honestly think we'd be a lot like European nations who don't freak out over a boob. And it would be nice if we didn't have to freak out over a boob.
I don't disagree with that. That's long-term change that takes
Yeah.
conditioning of society.
Yeah,
I
but
guess is what
okay,
you'd call
so
it.
now, right. So this story goes in two ways, all right? One, I actually like the idea of the free the nipple or whatever it is that because there's different, like on Instagram, I know there were women that were trying to free the nipple. Good. I'm glad. I hope you get it. Not just because I want to see it. I don't mean that.
Use the right platform.
I mean because I think that it's a valid. I think it's a valid thing that they've got in their heads that why am I restricted more than my male counterparts when there are guys walking around with bigger boobs than some of the women that want to show them.
Yeah.
So, in fact, we were driving the other day and there's a big guy out there mowing his lawn, he didn't have a shirt on, right? Mm-hmm. Big old boobs. And my wife, she looks over and she goes, "Oh, that's disgusting." And I'm like, "What? So if he was some svelte guy, you'd be into it?" She goes, "Well, yeah." And I'm like, "All right, that makes sense." I get it. But seriously, if she has to see that, that's super uncomfortable. Like some monster out there mowing his lawn. I don't think we have to have some of these extra rules. I don't. And I think a lot of them came from this prudish society that we came from, and the Puritan type garbage. Yeah. And the same place that some of these right wingers, these evangelicals, want to take us back to.
Well, that's also your front yard. That's on your own property.
I agree. But he could walk around. He could walk around anywhere though, based on our laws. Agreed. Sure. Agreed. You're not going to see him in the White House.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Not going to see that. But he can go wherever he wants, and a woman who's well kept, can't.
Right.
Right. And so I there is a dichotomy there that I don't think is fair, and I don't think we should promote it the way that we do.
Everyone's, I guess, standing up for this person and trying to they're starting the free the nipple movement.
Yeah,
and,
so I
and trying to make excuses.
That's
But
the thing. I
it's
support.
okay.
I
It
support
is
half their movement.
right, but it's okay for people on your side, supporting this whole movement, to come out and say, "Hey, not everything is acceptable, and,
Sure,
and not everything is okay to do just
Sure.
because
Sure, I'm on board with you.
Yep.